I grew up Catholic, and I really enjoyed being Catholic when I was growing up. I was also, I got a giant book of science. I think I was about 8 years old, and that's just how I've lived my life. I've always thought in a scientific way. When I got out of high school, it didn't make as much sense to me to be Catholic anymore, and I started looking for other churches, and I went to a few, and I started to formulate some ideas, and I realized that nothing really fit what I believed. There wasn't really any big group of people that believed the same way I did out there. So then one night I was at a friend's house, and we're having a sleepover, and she said, "Oh yeah, in the morning I'm going to go to church. Do you want to come with me?" And I was like, "Okay." So we went in the morning, and this was when I was living in Seattle, and I went, and I'd grown up in Seattle, so I go in, and I'm like, "Oh, well, maybe I know somebody," and I look around, and they're in the back. Mom, hi. My mom was already at that church. So I was like, well, this must be a pretty good place, because my mom's a pretty cool person. And I listened to what the minister, Kathy Ann, had to say, and I was like, wow, this is really cool stuff. This is like a total wellness seminar, and it's free. You don't have to sign up to go to it. This is here all the time. I was truly amazed. So I kept going, and I did feel my life changing. And then I moved. I moved to California, and I found the church there, and it was all right. And I went to a couple churches there, and then I moved here to Dallas. And coming from the Seattle area, this was culture shock for me. I was like, I don't know where my people are. I didn't feel like I fit in. It was hard. And so very quickly I said, I'm going to find the church. So I found the church, and I came, and it was different than it is now. It was about 15 years ago. It was very small, and Peter wasn't the minister yet. But the people there were cool. They definitely were my people. And there was this amazing piano player and singer, and every Sunday I'd go, and I felt like he fed us all spiritually with his music. And so this did become my community. I think it was within a year or two, Peter decided to become the interim minister. And she wasn't going to be the minister. She was just going to be the interim minister. And I think everyone was like, come on. I know I was like, come on, you're it. So thank goodness she did stay on. My husband is Catholic, so there was a lot I needed to work out with that, being an ex-Catholic. Peter really helped me to see the beauty in Catholicism and these practices and teachings. I came to see that all those rituals that were so meaningless to me when I was growing up actually had really useful meanings to them. And now one of my very good friends is Catholic, and I've watched her pray the rosary regularly, and I can see for her that is the same meditation that we do. She is feeling that deep presence and living her life in such a beautiful way, and I can see the value in that now. I have 3 children, 8, 10, and 12, and they have all been born and raised in this philosophy, which I am so grateful for. My middle child is the one that asks me questions a lot. He's very bright, and when we were coming up on Grinch Sunday, he's like, "Oh, good, it's Grinch Sunday. Mom, why do they always do Grinch Sunday? Why do we do that?" It's a ritual, and I started explaining why rituals are useful, and the reason I had a good answer for that is because Petra explains that to us every year. And if she didn't do it every year, I wouldn't have had a good answer for him. I just know that somehow it felt right to me. So he actually had a lot of homework on Grinch Sunday and couldn't come. And I guess he was kind of going crazy, and my husband called me and said, "Look, he's got to be there for Grinch Sunday. So he drove him up here, and he was here in time for Grinch Sunday, which I was so happy about. So anyway, they've been raised in this philosophy, and they talk about it at home. And one day I heard them kind of discussing amongst themselves where God is. Yeah, God's everywhere. So they kind of have that general idea, God's everywhere. And of course, once again, he's trying to push it to the ultimate. God's in that wall. God's over there in the chair. God is my boot. And my husband looks at me and he's like, God's the boot? He's like, yeah, God's the boot. So my son walks in God boots. Thank you.